All right, guys, we've tried again. We remain victorious. For those of you who didn't know, we started this live stream like 30 minutes ago, and it was a crap show. Let me be censored. It was a mess. It was messy. I was displaying how much of a Joe Biden I am when it comes to handling StreamYard. I mean, it was embarrassing. Many of you were having a blast, laughing in the comments. I was like, these people are laughing at my pain. People are laughing at my suffering. I hope you had a very good laugh. I hope it was worth it
Funny
to
enough,
each other.
the comments is coming up on the StreamYard now.
Yeah, it is. It is. I figured that one out before I started as well. You have to figure a lot of things out before you start this stream, guys. If not, you're going to go in a novice and you're going to make a mess of yourself. You can learn from my mistake, okay? Learn how not to ever do a live stream using StreamYard. Do not, I repeat, do not schedule the stream without StreamYard. Don't you ever do that. If you do that, the comments will not show up on StreamYard. And also, if you're going to use StreamYard for the first time, test it out, okay? What did I say? Write this down for every one of you YouTubers, upcoming YouTubers. Test it out. Take out time to test it out properly, okay? If not, you're going to make a mess of yourself like I did. How is it? People are already laughing in the comments. Come on. You're laughing at me. Okay, just so many people who have no idea what happened. All right, that's good. I'm happy that you guys have no idea what happened. All right, so yes, we have a lot we are going to discuss today. It's going to be a long one. My brother is already looking like he's tired. We are streaming this is almost 1:00 on Saturday, 1:00 Saturday, and for so many of you, it's probably you guys are still way behind. You're still in the past. You're still in what Nigerians would consider as the past. We are in the future. We are way ahead. Only when it has to do with time zone. In every other regard, you guys are way ahead, but it's how life is. You have to balance things out. Anyway, so yes, we are going to be talking about Candace Owens. We're going to be talking about the video she released where she was attacking one of the key witnesses in the Andrew Tate case. And we're going to be looking into that. But before that, let me ask my brother again, to tell us once again what he knows about the Andrew Tate Candace Owens debacle. What do you know about the interview? What do you know about anything? What do you know about it? Let the people know.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, so he knows absolutely nothing. If you're like him too, I don't know if I'll say you're in the right place, because I don't know if I also have the patience to take you through the whole case. But essentially, last year Andrew Tate was arrested. He was arrested. He was put in prison. He was locked up for 90 days while the prosecution was trying to come up with a case against him. After 90 days, he was released and placed on house arrest, and it continued for like 6 months. At the end of the sixth month, the charges of rape, human trafficking, forming a criminal organization was created against him. These were the charges that were levied against him. And of course, he has been on every major, I would say every at this point, the big ones, the ones that matter. He has been on every podcast. He has been on every interview he can be on, as far as right-wing media is concerned, especially the ones people pay attention to. I'm talking Patrick Bet-Davis, I'm talking Tucker Carlson, and of course Candace Owens. And these are long hour interview. The one with Patrick Bet-Davis was like 5 hours interview. The one with Tucker Carlson was 3 hour interview. The one with Candace Owens was also a 3 hour interview. And in each of those interviews, he has lied repeatedly about the case. Now, lying about your case does not mean you are guilty, but it also means that you cannot be trusted, essentially. Like if someone is going to lie repeatedly about the facts of his own case, lie about the indictment, lie about what he's being charged with, and stuff like that. Somebody is going to do all of that. You can already begin to assume this person may not be as innocent as they claim to be. And that's the problem. That's what we are dealing with Andrew Tate. That's essentially what we are dealing with. We are dealing with somebody who cannot be truthful, even about his own case when he's asked about it. We are dealing with somebody who has lied repeatedly. I mean, he has said in interviews that some of the videos that are coming out about him, if you're on Twitter, you see some of those videos, that they are from 10 years ago. These videos are from 10 years ago, 15 years ago. If it's possible, he will say they are from the Stone Ages, right? Only for us to realize that some of these videos was as early as last year, right? This is somebody who said these videos that have been released about me are from 10 years ago. Turns out the videos, most of them from last year, some from 2020, some from 2021, 2022, as recent as that. Even the ones that he claimed to be far back 10 years ago was available on his website, which he took down as early as last year. So he said he stopped running a webcam business, but you can see him on multiple podcasts admitting to the fact that he still ran the whole thing. In one podcast, he'll say he stopped yesterday. Another podcast, he'll say, oh, we are still doing the whole thing. The point is, this person is somebody who is not credible. This person is someone who lies. And that's the controversy around him. The controversy is not just that this guy is an alleged human trafficker, an alleged rapist, like they like to say on YouTube to avoid censorship, an alleged pioneer of a criminal gang in Romania. Beyond all of these facts is also the fact that he's also a pathological liar. And I think that is the greatest problem he has right now, is that he's a pathological liar. Now, all of that being said, when Tucker Carlson did his first interview, if any of you have seen it, you could see that he presented himself as somebody who was oblivious of the case against Andrew Tate. You could see he was asking questions, he was lost. He acted like somebody who does not know anything about what's it called? Human trafficking. He had no clue what human trafficking is, what it entails. He was looking lost, looking confused, like, oh, what is human trafficking? Explain to me. That's how he was looking in the first interview he did with Andrew Tate. He looked lost and confused, like, I don't know what these people are talking about. And we could excuse that, all right? Okay, of course, things, the information we have now available for everyone to see was not available then on the internet, but they were available. It's just that he wasn't looking. And you could say, yes, as a journalist, he was supposed to do his job, do the necessary the due diligence of, seeking out this information. I mean, if you want to go and investigate somebody who is a popular figure, a controversial figure, who has a criminal case, a pending criminal case against him, at least I would imagine that you will call the prosecution and be like, guys, I want to see what you people have on this guy. What do you think, Yudee? Like, you want to interview somebody who you've not interviewed before, who has a criminal case, and you have a couple of questions you want to ask him with regard to the case, right? Don't you think it's just normal or reasonable for you to call up the prosecution, say, let me see the case you people have against him, or go to the website, the DICOT website, where they have the charges against him, the indictment, the evidence against him made public, right? You're going to do something like that, like check out this information, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's important you check what has been laid against the person first, and then before you take any action further on such an issue and stuff. Yeah. But before I say anything, I would prefer we just go over to the video that caused the issue we had.
Yeah, I'm just trying to lay the whole facts of the matter, so everybody will know what is going on and understand what the whole case is. So Tucker Carlson did it. Sorry, let me just wrap the whole thing up quickly. He did his interview, acted like a journalist who did not do his homework. Everybody could forgive him as being negligent and being complacent and being just a terrible journalist, right? We could take him, we could take that as that's the case. But then he did the interview, it went viral, it was the most watched interview in human history, was viewed more times than Oprah Winfrey's interview with Michael Jackson, which was one of the most watched interview prior to the interview he did with Andrew Tate. That's to tell you how popular it was. And when that happened, a lot of stuff were coming out showing that this person is not who he portrayed himself to be on the interview. and that Tucker Carlson did not do a good job in, asking him the real questions and going to the facts of the matter with regards to his case. That became the issue, right? And after that, Candace Owens flew over to Romania to interview this guy, knowing the dispute, the controversy surrounding his case, the fact that this person is a liar. Went there and also acted like Tucker Carlson. In fact, she did not act like Tucker Carlson. She acted like she knew what the case was about. Oh, I knew what this case is. She said in the interview, I've read the indictment. And then she misrepresented what was on the indictment, which is another way of saying she lied about what was on the indictment. And she also helped Andrew Tate to lie and repeat the same lies he told in the Tucker Carlson interview. The only pushback that people claim she pushed back, people want to mention that, she pushed back. She pushed back rather, was when she said, the indictment also mentioned OnlyFans, right? And then she said that this indictment has nothing to do with the videos that are being leaked, which is a lie. But that's by the way. After she finished doing all of that, and then she published the interview on YouTube, got 1 million views in less than 24 hours. So you can see how successful it was already on YouTube. And she was already saying, what a successful interview. People were, she got some blowback on the fact that, hey, you helped this person to lie. Your interview was trash. It was more trash than Tucker Carlson interview. And at this point, it looks like all of you are in on this whole thing. You guys are trying to make this guy, you guys are trying to launder his terrible reputation. And it is obvious what you people are doing. She does not respond. Okay, she did a response video saying, why people are condemning me for interviewing him, for interviewing Andrew Tate, as if I'm not supposed to interview him because I'm a conservative or I'm a Christian. As a Christian, you're supposed to interview people. And I was like, no, that's not the point. That's not why people are having issue with your interview. It's not that you interviewed him, it's that you did a terrible job interviewing him. You did not point out the facts that everyone knows, that of the lies that he has been telling and he has been repeating over and over and over again. You ignored all of them. You even helped him to repeat those lies. You tried to launder his terrible reputation to your millions of viewers. You misled and deceived many of them. Many of them, if you go to the comments, they're like, wow, what a great interview. When it was actually trash, both of you were helping each other to lie. That was the accusation. Then she did another video, which is the one that we are going to watch. We are going to watch a response to that video, a video that points out the lies that she told in that video that she just did. At this point, these are people who are lying, obviously, or are being negligent. Is it that they are being negligent with the truth or they are lying, right? So, and in this video, what she did mainly in this video that we are going to look at someone react to or respond to. She picked out one of the key witnesses in the case against Andrew Tate and tried to bring out her horrible past and make it look like, no, she has this history of falsely accusing people. And that you get what I'm trying to say? That's essentially what she's trying to do. Make it look like this person has a history of falsely accusing people, and the Tates are one of this person's victim. Now, keep in mind that the person in question is I think 21 years old, I guess, or 20 years old. I don't know how old she is, but we'll get to it when we look at it in the video. And Andrew Tate is a 36-year-old man. A 36-year-old man is a victim of a 21-year-old woman. Are you catching the wonderful?
Okay.
So let's go to the video and see how it plays out.
I'm underage, and Fisher is still with her. He knows she's underage right here. I'm surprised Candace is actually reading this.
Yeah, me too. That's crazy, right?
Yeah, this doesn't make sense.
Well, today I'm going to offer you the most thorough accounting of the exact charges that face the Tate brothers.
The video is not showing. It's not showing on the screen at the live for people to see.
Oh, that's true. Sorry, guys. I forgot to share my screen. All right. Sorry.
They are going to beat these charges.
Hi, I'm Nathan from MilkBarTV. Candace Owens recently did an interview with Andrew Tate, self-confessed pimp, who's facing criminal charges of rape and human trafficking. It appears that the blowback from this interview was so severe that she felt she needed to justify why she did it. Pretty much she finds herself defending 5 child predators in an attempt to take down one of Andrew Tate's victims. It's quite shocking and really quite unbelievable.
I want to pause this for a minute to just take a minute to reflect on the fact that she said, if you watch the video, she said, I'm going to do a thorough analysis. Did you catch that word?
Yeah.
She said, I'm going to do a thorough analysis on this person. Meanwhile, everything she talked about with regards to this person was information from Andrew Tate.
So, in other words, there's no analysis happening here.
There is no thorough analysis. There's just, I'm going to repeat to you what Andrew Tate has said about this person. Or to put it in a more legal ways, what Andrew Tate lawyers are accusing this person of. Because they are attacking this person they have a case against the person in the US. And it's just this is just clear evidence of witness intimidation. Witness intimidation is where you try to intimidate a witness, and one of the ways is through lawsuit, to bring up a lawsuit against the person, to try to intimidate the person, and also make others who want to come out against you, who want to come out as victims, to be afraid. That is essentially what he's trying to do. All right, so let's keep watching.
Let's take a look.
So who is Emma Gabi? First, I'll tell you who she is according to the Tate brothers, who is suing her.
Did you catch it? According to who?
Now, this is kind of like a report. I don't think this is
exactly. This is not an analysis. Thank you. This is not an analysis.
This is a report someone is doing.
Yeah, I want to report to you what they've said. And this is what I want you guys to understand, that this is what passes for journalism. This is epic. This is pinnacle of journalism right here. This is what passes for journalism. This is journalism. This is it. This is it. Journalism is, I'm going to tell you what someone I like said, essentially.
So there was no work actually that was put into this whole thing. It's
nothing. It's just reading an indictment, or that is the indictment that has been levied against somebody. You just took it and you read it. You did not even read a response. You did not even take out time to fact check those. To investigate every single one of the claim. If you want to make a video like this is how I think when I make videos, right? How I think is, I ask myself, what will be the blowback to this? What blowback will be to this? Like, what blowback will I receive if I make this video? What will be the criticism of the video? You think about it, right? And with those thoughts in mind, you go ahead and make the video and try to address everything that will come up as a rebuttal to the claims you are making in the video beforehand. So people know that you are ready, right? But this person did not. I feel she didn't even try to consider any of those. And this is somebody who has $1 million budget behind her. She has a team of researchers. This is not a small time somebody. This is the Daily Wire. You can see the logo here. This is the Daily Wire. This is not a small news organization.
I think they actually need to just call her in, collect all of those money that has been given her, because right now it's no work when you come up to the public and come to give us the reports, and then you call it analysis when you're stating according to.
It's not just analysis, thorough analysis.
So maybe if you play the video, we'll get to see what the analysis is. Let's see what she's trying to say here.
In Palm Beach County, Florida.
According to the Tate brothers, we're going to tell you who a human trafficking victim is by the two guys who have been charged with human trafficking this victim in Romania. So they're going to tell you who this victim is.
According to them, again, if you want to take their word for it.
We don't want to take their word for it. As we've already seen in previous videos that you've made, MilkBar, Tate is a compulsive liar.
Emma Gabi is a predator who has a long history of baiting men into sexual relationships for the specific purpose of destroying their lives. She has a chain of victims going back several years to when she was a minor.
Oh, she said it. She was a minor. These are not guys who were 20 years old or 22 years old. These men are all into their mid-30s and above. Keith Fox was 57. Emma was 15. Dustin Milner was 35 years old. Emma was 17. Tyler Hensel was 35 years old. Emma was 17. Marlon Fisher was 34 years old. Emma was just 1 month out of her 16th birthday. She was 17. Joel Friedman was 39 years old. Emma was 17. So what we have here is a group of child predators, guys who are preying on young girls, saying, oh, woe is me, I was set up by this minor. That's what we have here. This is essentially Jeffrey Epstein saying, oh, I was having these underage girls come in and give me massages, but I didn't know they were under the age of 18. Silly me. These are guys who were looking for young women. And Emma, she looks very young, as you can see. How can a grown man in his mid-30s or older look at this girl and say, oh, yeah, clearly she's overage? The responsibility is the adults to make sure that she's overage. So let's talk.
So what do you think? What do you think so far?
Well, before I proceed, with all due respect to the Tate fans, all over the world. Now, this is crazy. It's indeed crazy because now there's something I want to get here first. These ladies, one of these ladies, are they trying to defend Andrew Tate and not come out and say this is exactly what has happened to them?
No, this is the lady whose report led to the entire investigation.
Okay, so she kind of opened up and she was
the one who opened this. Yes, exactly. So
now, what are these guys saying in order to pull out from this whole issue? Are they trying to their statement is that none of this happened, that they had no idea these people who were coming, just like this guy said, to give them massage. They had no idea that they were below the age of 18.
What he's trying to do is compare the case with Jeffrey Epstein. I don't know if you are aware of the guy who they call Jeffrey Epstein. What he's saying is this lady has been a repeated victim of abuse, targeted.
Okay.
And there are many people who I see in the comments saying, oh, how can it be? There's someone who I saw a comment here that said, oh, how can it be that every single person she has? I want to highlight that person. He said, how unlucky could she be that every relationship she has is with an older predator? And what I would say about that is, you are essentially missing the point. One is there are people who, one, she's autistic. Second is that she's an immigrant. People don't know that she came from a different country. She's had a rough upbringing, right? This is somebody who has been through a lot, and I'm not using that to kind of. I am very sure that if you can find something about her that you say, yeah, this is somebody who is horrible. Probably for a young child, an underage 16, 17-year-old, maybe we can accuse that kind of person for being horrible with the way adults who she has encountered has treated her, right? I think it's one of the normal things people do, which is to blame children for the way adults treat them. I believe in the West, it's understandable, right? So, so you can say that, but essentially this lady has been abused repeatedly
by different people.
By different people as far back as when she was 16.
Whoa.
That's kind of what is being pointed at. And one of the people who have taken advantage of her, who took advantage of her rather, allegedly, is the Tate brothers.
Whoa.
Yeah. But according to Candace Owens, that's not the case. The person she is a repeated predator who is taking advantage of these men. You understand?
So, in other words, you're trying to make it seem that way.
Yeah, Candace Owens is trying to make Candace Owens and the Tate team, legal team, with the case they are filing against her in the state of Florida. They're trying to make it look like she has been the one who have been targeting these men, misleading these men.
So in a probably you're looking at it from the angle that she's doing this in a bid to maybe get money off these people.
Nothing. She's not been accused of extortion. She did not extort anybody. Nothing.
Now, what I would say is this. First off, someone who happens to be an adult, all right, when you have a child around you or someone who is a teenager, you are supposed to know that that person is a teenager. You cannot just work based on assumption, or you just look at the person and say, oh, I thought she's 34, or I thought There is no thoughts here, especially when the futures you can see around the person shows that this person likely is a teenager. And the best thing you're supposed to do is to be protective of that teenage person's rights. You're not supposed to take advantage of that person, right? Now, where you don't do due diligence in this regard, whatever thing happens, you're supposed to take full responsibility of it. So
Thank you.
trying to say she's in the act of going to people who's going for older men because she's young and stuff like that, and try to turn it and push this lady aside and put all the whole faults. No, I think from my own point of view, it's actually wrong.
Exactly, I agree with you. Well, I don't know if people were able to catch that when I said, of course, apparently it looks like when you are the older person, you are the one who is you have less responsibility. It was sarcasm that I was trying to that I was trying to come up with. But the obvious point is that's exactly what I was trying to say. In that, as somebody who is older, this is a 16-year-old. In certain jurisdictions, in certain countries, even 16-year-olds are not legally capable of things like murder. They will not face capital punishment if they commit murder. There are certain crimes you cannot even accuse them of. These are minors. This is somebody who is not. You are the older person. You are 35. This is somebody who is 16, and you are telling me that somebody with less experience, somebody who is young and naive, somebody who is have so many youthful exuberance. This might be somebody who is a delinquent. This is somebody might be a delinquent. This might be someone who is dealing with so many things as a young person, as a child, essentially, right? And you're going to tell me, no, the real people the real person to blame here is that child. That child
Now,
is the person.
Sorry to come in here. So, there's something that is being fused into this whole discourse where probably they say she was asking for money in a bid to, go into this man. It will have been a different issue. Probably it will have made it complicated, knowing fully well that this is not the first time she's been a victim of this. But I mean, there is nothing attached to it because in most cases I've seen, I know people would say either the parent of a child pushed the child to the adults so that they could get money off the adults. You get what I'm trying to say?
Nothing like that. Nothing like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Nothing like
But
that
now,
is
in this
accused of.
case, there is nothing like that. So when you look at it from that angle, I feel the adults should take the responsibility. That's just
Yeah.
it.
Thank you. Let's just keep going.
Talk about the law in Florida regarding statutory rape and what this actually means. In Florida, anyone over the age of 24 cannot have sex with someone under the age of 18 years old, even if the person under the age of 18 years old lied about their age. Ignorance is not a defense. Even if they lied about their age, it is the responsibility of the adult to figure out the true age of the minor. This is the law. If you don't like the law, feel free to go and try to change the law.
Before she ever met a Tate brother, Emma Gabi was a sex worker. She had her own Pornhub account, and she could be contacted via a sex hotline. Again, that is before she ever met a Tate brother.
All right.
Now, before we proceed, another thing people need to understand is that somebody who has the background of this lady, Emma Gabi, she's usually the kind of person that human traffickers and sex traffickers target. I don't know if you understand.
Especially if they sense that the person has experience.
Not the experience part, it's just troubling childhood. You see somebody who has a troubled childhood. This is somebody who was taken advantage of when she was 16. Right?
And
now, this thing that was posted here is a mock-up. It's not true, but that one we'll get to Isha. It's a mock-up. We'll go to get to that one. But I just want people to understand that if people will be asking how come she has been victims of multiple men. Is it just her? She's that kind of person, right? What I mean is she's that kind of person who, based on her upbringing, based on what she has been through in life, she her upbringing has conditioned her and made her an easy target for this kind of people. These are the kind of people they look for. If somebody who is a pimp, who wants to get somebody into sex work, or you want to even get somebody to do something like Pornhub, you want to get somebody to be a Pornhub actress, you look for somebody like Emma Gabi, who has been through a lot, right? Who is already putting it out there even. This is textbook who you look for. Okay?
Yeah.
In the actual Florida lawsuit, the only thing they mention is social media accounts, and they mention an OnlyFans account. Now, Emma's OnlyFans account, she did topless pictures on there, and she eventually shut that down because she was not interested in OnlyFans. And what she's showing on the screen right now, 666 Fury, that is an image, a mock-up image that was taken directly from her Instagram account. There is no 666 Fury. That is just an image that she put together with the costume that she had. That doesn't exist. She was not a sex worker in this sense. So this is starting out really bad. She's gaslighting people into thinking that Emma was this sex worker, when in fact the worst that she actually did was do topless pictures on OnlyFans.
The first case involves a man who I am not going to name, and the only reason I'm not going to name him is because at the time of the allegations against him, Emma was in fact a minor, and that of course is relevant. So we just want to be ethical here.
Pause. So she wants to be ethical here, and she's protecting the man who has been convicted of a sex crime against two different minors because there was a minor involved. However, she has no problem saying what the minor's name is. So she has no problem saying Emma's name. But
Do you understand what he's saying here? Let me let it play. Let me let it finish.
she's not mentioning the actual name of Keith Fox.
Throughout this episode, by the way, you're going to hear some beeps when I'm
So this is it. She's talking about the first case, and the first case, the first person who took advantage of the lady is Kit Fox. That's the first person, and she, Candace Owens, does not mention the name of the person. She does not mention. Throughout this thing was bleeped, and this is the funny thing. If you
see that these Daily Wired people were paid or what?
I don't know, but this is the thing. If she had mentioned the name and her audience had done due diligence of just Googling the name Kit Fox, you will learn a lot about the man and know that no, this person is a convicted sex offender, and Emma Gabi was not his only victim. There were two victims of this guy. So did the other victim also lie? If Emma Gabi lied, did the other victim also lie? You understand? So, but let's continue.
discussing this case. If I accidentally say his name, we intend to just beep it out.
Keith Fox was a 57-year-old man who was convicted and sentenced to 24 years in prison for sexually abusing two girls under the age of 18. Emma was a 15-year-old girl. He was a 57-year-old married man who was sexually abusing her. A private investigator captured images of Keith Fox sexually abusing Emma through a window. So he was caught red-handed. And if you look this case up, you're going to know that there's absolutely no possible scenario in where she falsely accused this man of anything.
And not expose his name so that people can look up the case because, as I said, she was underage at the time.
And they don't want you.
Did you hear what she said? I don't want to tell his name so that people don't look up the case. Because when it happened, she was underage. Yeah, but the underage girl, you are free. You have nothing. You have no.
I think the lady is completely biased. Like it's looking like Tate. I don't know anyway. Kind of like gave her something to just come here do this stuff.
It's now looking like she was paid off. I don't want to assume that. I don't want to assume that because then
that's why I said it's looking like, because I mean, this is a fellow lady. We're talking about a minor, and the person doing this presentation happened to be a lady like her too. No point intended. What happened to ladies supporting ladies here? Because the whole facts are there. That's why I say ladies supporting ladies.
Women supporting women in the mud.
What?
Women supporting women in the freaking mud. Can you imagine? But let's continue.
You to know his name because if you look this case up, you're going to see that she clearly did not frame him.
There were two girls that were involved in that case, just to be clear, and one of the girls admitted flat out to having an outright sexual relationship with him, including sexual intercourse. Now let's talk about Marlon Fisher. Who is he?
So let's talk about Marlon Fisher. He was a 34-year-old man, and he met Emma 1 month after her 16th birthday. And all of the chats that you're going to see here, these chats allegedly come from Marlon illegally accessing her phone and taking all of these chats off of her phone. So this is a child predator, 34 years old, dealing with a woman who is 17 years old, and ignorance is not a defense, remember. She can lie about her age, but in Florida, the responsibility falls on him. And he has a history here. And though the actual case was dismissed, there was another person who took him to court and filed a petition for stalking. So this isn't the first time he's had issues.
So this is a text message that Marlon Fisher is alleging that Emma.
Now think about this. This guy who put this whole thing together, MilkBarTV, who put this whole thing together. This is somebody who is probably doing this from his house, right? No budget, nothing.
And
I don't know if you get.
He's doing a good
He's
job
doing the thorough analysis. He's doing
thorough
the
analysis.
analysis.
Whereas the person who claimed to be doing the thorough analysis is actually doing a thorough report. That's what's going on here, because she's doing a thorough report according to, and then when it gets to the part where she's supposed to do the thorough analysis, she will withhold the name and tell you, okay, which name I will not call now, so that I don't want you to go do the analysis for yourself. But let's move forward. So it's kind of like crazy. It's just biased there.
Exactly.
Emma Gabi sent to people regarding him. Now, to be clear, before I read this text message, I am about to read you a lot of text messages that apparently came from Emma Gabi and other people throughout this episode. As a general disclaimer, these text messages are a part of cases that are pending and have been submitted to the courts. They have signed affidavits swearing that these are true. I independently, of course, have no means to individually authenticate these messages.
It's a lie. Candace, that is a big fat lie. You have every means to authenticate some of these things. You do. It's your job. If you claim to at least pretend. This is one thing I like CNN for. Yes, they have left-wing bias and they do a terrible job, but at least they pretend to care. They pretend. You are not even pretending. You're not even pretend like you want to be a journalist. Pretend. Just like you are pretending to be doing a thorough analysis, just pretend. Jesus Christ.
Just to say to you that these are definitely real and I'm holding the phone. So you're going to have to trust the people that are submitting them.
Pause. We have to trust child predators. That's what she's saying right here. We have to trust that a man who is 34 years old having sexual intercourse with a girl who's 17 years old, which is statutory rape. We have to trust this man has given an honest affidavit.
So going back to this text message, the first one reads from Emma Gabi, again, out to all of her friends. I need to open up and tell you all something because I owe it to you, the people I care about. You have each moved me so much in my life that I am able to do it. I have a problem. I am a pathological liar. My life started in Kazakhstan, where I grew up in a loveless orphanage. We were picked up facing away from the caretakers, so we never developed love. I never learned how to hug, smile, kiss, touch, or be close to anybody. I was adopted by incredible people named Mona and Bill, who saved me from a life of abuse. I had a beautiful childhood because of them. When I was 11 or 12, I began to dissociate and resent them. I felt unwanted and like I had no family, so I began to rebel, doing drugs and meeting lots of different people.
This is exactly the type of troubled and vulnerable woman that human traffickers will look for.
Would a butt plug go off through a metal detector? And to give context to that message, the context that was provided by Marlon Fisher, she was asking Marlon Fisher if wearing her butt plug would set off the courthouse metal detector when she needed to go through in order to meet with the district attorney who was prosecuting the person that I just told you about, which is why it's relevant.
Yeah, I don't even understand the point of this. What she's doing is she's shaming a child. She's shaming a troubled child for having these, sexual kinks. And that has nothing to do with the fact that she was allegedly trafficked to Romania. None of this has anything to do with that.
honestly, I have no issue with. Oh, if you want to point out the ridiculousness of she have talking about having a butt plug and stuff like that, I get that. Of course, you can all we can sit here for 10 days and talk about how depraved such is, but you also have to understand where this person is coming from,
Coming from,
right? You have
yeah.
to understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is somebody who has had a troubled childhood, as we just clearly saw. This person has had a troubled childhood. So I'm not saying it makes we cannot hold her responsible and say, okay, you still have agency as an individual and you are responsible for, you should kind of, you know, you are still the one who is doing these things and you need to stop, right? Something like that. We can say that fair and square, we can say that, but we cannot also now act like this person is still not a child. And when she was doing all of these things she was not doing it as a dumb child. I mean, this is a dumb child. This is a dumb child who adults are taking advantage of.
Yeah. And one thing with will I use the word predictor? I don't even know what to call them, is that when they see someone who is vulnerable and someone that is it's going to be like much of an easier task to take advantage of, they just know how to spot them. So if someone is being a victim of these people, most times these people know the people to meet to, you just know somebody who you can easily get, and you just see that person, you just go for that person. And it could be one of a kind that also would have happened in this case. But the sad part here is that having to sit here and watch this lady here from Daily Wire doing all of this whole craziness is doesn't make any sense in any way, because what I'm seeing here is just somebody coming out straight and saying, I'm here to defend the men who did this. That is what this is all about.
Exactly. We can,
Because,
like I said, we can
if she had tried in a bit to just try and find a way to create a balance with the truth. If you don't even have anything to say, just tell us the truth. Just tell us from findings, this is it.
Yes, exactly. If your commentary will not be fair, at least just stick to the fact.
And just stay neutral and use the word maybe in things that you feel you're not sure of. But when you stand firm, like, yeah, this is it, then it becomes would I say irritating to watch.
Exactly. It's just sad to watch. Really, really sad. And this is one thing I see among I really need to make this case. Maybe this is a good time to make that case. Is the fact that whether it is left-wing commentators, pundits, whatever, right-wing pundits, they emphasize one aspect of the truth. Sometimes it's not even true, and then they downplay or completely ignore something else that is also crucial to the thing they are talking about. They don't focus on all the facts. They emphasize on one and ignore the other. They talk about one and then ignore the other. For them, the other is like it doesn't even exist, or if it exists, it's not really that consequential. They don't care. Everybody cares. Like I said in the last live stream that I did, everybody care more about the message that they want to pass across or the narrative they want to spread than they do about the truth. So they pick up a certain fact that will help spread that particular narrative and then ignore facts that is detrimental to that narrative. You get what I'm saying? So let's say I want to make Andrew Tate look innocent. I bring up facts that make him look innocent and then ignore facts that make him look guilty. That's essentially what they do. Is with every pundit, whether right wing or left wing, even when they are right. Like so many times I listen to both sides of this. Like, I'm very invested in Western politics. I listen to both sides. And I can't, like, sometimes I'm like, these guys, I agree with you, sir, but there's something you are ignoring. I don't know if you understand. Like, even when I agree with you, but there's something you are ignoring. I agree with you, but you are ignoring this. I totally agree with what you are saying, but why are you ignoring this? You get what I'm saying? Why are you ignoring this fact? So it's just crazy. Anyway, let's continue.
Other than you're just trying to shame her.
Again, this is being told by Marlon Fisher, so I can only say allegedly these are her actual text messages.
Allegedly.
Now, Marlon Fisher began to suspect claims that she was lying about her age. Now, remember, is serving a prison sentence. His life has pretty much been destroyed here. But the pattern of behavior, again, this is coming from Marlon Fisher, that was used on him represents the same pattern of behavior that she used against her other victims.
Okay, so pause it right here, because Jail John, who is Keith Fox, he was caught on film and he was convicted. There is no scenario here where she misled him. Ignorance is not a defense. That's why he was convicted and why he was actually sent to prison, because in Florida, that doesn't matter. She lied about her age, so what? It was your responsibility. That's why they convicted him and actually sent him to prison. Additionally, if Fisher once finds that, if he starts questioning her age, that's where you sever the relationship. You don't continue a relationship with someone when you start to suspect that they might be a minor. You're gone. You bounce. The fact that he's hanging around is suspect.
I believe that was induced into an illicit sexual relationship with a minor under false pretenses. According to Marlon Fisher, performed deviant sexual acts in the bedroom, such as urinating on her during intercourse.
Yeah, he's the victim. He's the victim here. The 57-year-old married man who is urinating on a 15-year-old child is the victim, just for context.
Well, it ends with Emma Gabi filing documents against Marlon Fisher. On September 16, 2019, she walked into Palm Beach County Courthouse and filed a temporary injunction for protection against domestic abuse against Marlon Fisher under what he claims are false pretenses.
Let me just pause for a minute. I'm reading some of the things people are saying in the chats, and there's something some people don't know about Candace Owens. Before Candace Owens became a self-proclaimed conservative pundit that so many of you love so much in the comments, before she became that, I hope many of you are aware that she had a site called Social Autopsy. And what that site was about is essentially doxing people. Like, doxing people in that if somebody says something they don't like, they're going to leak the person's entire information. They put it all out there. That was a site that she had. There's a video where she was doing promotional video for this site, claiming, well, if you make comments about people that hurt their feelings, you're affecting them. This is the real world, blah, blah, blah. Trying to justify doxing people. She had that site. This is no joke. And I'm not bringing this up to make it look like Candace Owens has not changed or she's not that kind of a terrible person, but she has not addressed this. When I remember one podcast she was on and this was brought up and she kind of downplayed it, but it is a real thing. She has not apologized for it or even addressed the fact that she had it. Everybody's just putting it like water under the bridge. We sweep it under the rug. It did not happen, never existed, but it is a fact. And I want everybody in the comment to be aware of that. Do with that information whatever you may. Let's continue.
So what we have here is the second situation where Emma has accused someone formally. The first one was Keith Fox, and I believe it was her mother that started that in motion, but he was convicted. He was convicted. He did it to another girl. He was caught on film. He was convicted. There's no question that was not false. Now we have the second person here who she did go to the police and file some sort of an accusation. Notice it was not kidnapping and it was not human trafficking as the Tates love to claim. So we have one that was actually convicted, so that's not false. And we have a second one which has nothing to do with human trafficking or kidnapping.
She filed a restraining order under oath in Florida State Court where she accused Marlon Fisher of severely abusing her. Marlon Fisher, distraught, did not know what to do. Now, just as a reminder, they've engaged in BDSM, according to him.
Right. This is all according to Tate's and according to the man who was raping her, essentially.
She wants to engage in BDSM, and so now she is claiming that she has been abused. So you can imagine this obviously presents some suffering.
Pause. You've been having sex with a minor, and now you found out that you're having sex with a minor. You continue to have communication with the minor.
Sorry, I need to pause here. There's a comment I want to show here. This is what somebody says. Say, bro, I agree with everything you always say, but on Tate, you are wrong. She's right. All those so-called victims said they were never victims. Dude, we are talking about somebody who is an actual victim who has not come out to say she's not a victim. That's what we are talking about here. And in the case of us talking about somebody who said she's a victim and has not changed her story one bit, as we are doing this live stream, we are coming up with the claim that none of there are no victims. In a video where we are talking about one of the victims. Come on. Dude, come on.
And now the minor actually goes to the police and makes some accusations against you. Oh yeah, of course you're going to suffer. You know, that's statutory rape. You know, I'm surprised Chris Henson didn't walk in and tell him to have a seat. Why don't you have a seat right over there?
The next case, and I want to be clear here, I have seen people online circulating saying that this woman, that Emma Gabi, caused a man to commit suicide. I want to say that that is something that is an allegation that I would not stand by.
So Candace says she wouldn't stand by this, but then she continues to go into it. She obviously wants to plant that seed to make you think, well, maybe she was involved. So Dustin Milner was a 35-year-old depressed man who was having sex with a 17-year-old girl, which was Emma. He also has a criminal history. He got a felony for unauthorized possession of an identification card. So it looks like at one time he also had a fake ID. So 35 years old with a 17-year-old. Now, according to the Florida lawsuit, there's no actual evidence that says that she's involved. They're basing it on the brother believing, his thought is that she may have been involved. And I can understand where he might be coming from, where he's trying to make sense of the suicide and he wants to put the blame somewhere. So obviously he's going to place it with her, but there's no actual evidence that she was involved.
So there is no evidence here that could back this up. She didn't tell him to kill himself.
Okay, so she just said it. There's no evidence to back this up. Candace said that herself. And it's also important to understand there was no accusation here. She did not accuse him of trafficking, of kidnapping, or any particular crime. He unfortunately committed suicide. And there's no evidence to actually back that up.
And so I just want to make it clear that in digging into this, I didn't feel comfortable suggesting that she made him commit suicide.
Yeah, we talked about it anyway.
Moving on to a young man named Tyler Hensel.
Okay, so Tyler Hensel, the young man who was 35 years old, and you can see that at the bottom of the screen there. She highlights something in yellow, but if you go down and look, you can see that Tyler was 35 years old and Emma was 17 years old. Now, Tyler alleges that he thought she was 26 years old, but again, ignorance is not a defense. The responsibility falls on him, 35-year-old with a 17-year-old.
Indicating to Hensel, like to Martin Fisher before him, that she was into BDSM and insisted on calling him daddy in the bedroom. At one point, when the two of them were alone, Gabi even jumped on top of Tyler Hensel, initiating sexual contact. Hensel, who was not into this kind of degrading behavior, often rejected her demands for more aggressive sexual conduct.
But he still had sex with her, and there's no way, looking at her picture, are you going to think...
I don't even understand what Candace Owens. What's your point, Candace? What's your point? A 17-year-old jumped on a 35-year-old man, and the man just was like, oh, God, I don't know what to do. This 17-year-old is throwing herself on top of me. What am I supposed to do? My God, why is it my fault that I had sex with a 17-year-old throwing herself at me? It is obviously her fault. My God.
This stuff is giving me the vibe of the stuff Burna Boy said. Where he said, you go explain tire because you don't get evidence. You know, this was like just said, this woman is actually saying the truth, right? And the man is actually lying. Okay, the man is bringing his evidence. Oga, where your evidence? Like, where is yours? At least let's start from there, and then we could say, yeah, you're bringing something valuable to this discussion, and we can then, use that, putting one or two stuff into it and balance the whole equation since the person is bringing the evidence here.
Yeah, so thank you, Shini Bini. Thank you for the super chat. She said, if someone rear-ends your car but you don't see damage and the driver is nice to you, they still hit your car and you still have frame damage. Well, I don't know how this relates to what we are talking about, but thank you for the input. You also made another, you say, Candace, I've never heard of Stockholm syndrome. It's not even what is happening with those victims, the ones that somebody in the comments mentioned that, those victims have come out to say that they are not victims. That is a different story altogether. It's a different video if you want us to go into that. But the gist of it is those so-called victims, they are victims anyway. It's not like so-called, they are victims, but they are also perpetrators. Those victims are also, because there's a thin line between being a victim and also being a perpetrator. These women, yes, they were exploited by the Tate brothers, yet they are victims in the crime that Andrew Tate committed. But at one point, they also participated in the grooming and exploitation of other women that were under the umbrella of the criminal organization that Andrew Tate is accused of having. There's leaked text message of one of the ladies who is like a staunch defender of Andrew Tate being told to convince somebody to do sex work and, you know, to kind of manage somebody, you know, handle the person and groom the person into sex work. You can see it exactly where she's been told what to do. She's also one of Tate's so-called bottom B. You know, these are people who Andrew Tate used to convince other ladies to get into sex work for him, and then they get to give him the money. You know, so this person is also culpable. She has a reason, right? She has a reason she has a reason to want to defend these people. Both of them, essentially, both of the so-called, these are the victims who have come out to say they are no victims. There are 7 victims in this case. 7. 2 are the ones who have come out to say that they are not victims, right? And they love to claim that nobody have come out, nobody have brought, they have no case against them. They are no victims. They always like to claim that. But there's an organization, I've forgotten the name, that the organization claims that they have interviewed over 50 women who claim to be victims of Andrew Tate. 50. But he will not address that. Instead, he will tell you they don't exist. It doesn't exist. This is the matrix. Of course. What else?
I think that she is 26 years old back when she's 17 years old. That's not going to happen. And I hate the fact that she keeps shaming her for her sexual kinks. That's not a crime. If you want to talk about sexual kinks, the Tate brothers are both on the record for choking women until they pass out.
Now, again, this person,
Not just
she
choking
never
women,
ended up.
beating them. This person was beating a woman and filmed it. Let's tell you how stupid these people is. Yes, these people are beating a woman. And he said, no, it was consensual beating. You know. And the lady also came out and said, oh, it's consensual. Of course, you don't know what has gone in the background, right? To make the lady come out and say, oh, yeah, it was consensual. But yeah, all of us are supposed to believe that it was consensual beating. You consented to being flogged and you were crying while they were flogging you. That's how consensual it was. Yeah, you're a masochist. You are addicted to pain.
Following anything against.
Okay, pause. So there were no accusations made against Tyler Hensel. So now we have 2 of the men where there were no accusations made. One of the men was actually convicted. So we have 1 man where accusations were made, and it was not about human trafficking or kidnapping. So we have 1 man where she's made an accusation against. And technically speaking, he was 34, she was 17. That is statutory rape. So she would have been within her rights to actually make that complaint.
Then we have the defamation of Joel Friedman. That she defamed a man named Joel Friedman, and this is an actual text message. How do we know about this defamation against Joel Friedman?
All right, so Joel Friedman is a 39-year-old man. Again, Emma was 17 years old. And how did you learn about the defamation? Surprise, through Fisher, the child predator. And also, Friedman had a history of drug abuse. He's actually been brought up on charges for drug abuse. One of the charges was possession of cocaine.
Exchange between Marlon and Gabi. Gabi writes, can I message Joel to tell him that I have a boyfriend? And Fisher says, as you clearly understand, nobody cares that you have a boyfriend, but if you'd like to tell him that he raped you, by all means. Emma says, I'd like to not put our relationship at risk.
Sorry, I want to address something that somebody said in the comments. This is from Michelle. I'm not good with surnames. He said, it just hit me. No, not this one. Sorry, not this one. Sorry. Let me not put you on blast. Let me put someone else. Frank, I must say, there are people in the West who do this weird stuff. It's called BDSM. They like being hot. I'm not a fan of it, and it's sick, but this is a known fetish. I get what BDSM is. You know, I also have read and watched 50 Shades of Grey. So I know what BDSM is. In one of the videos where Tate was beating a woman, she told the lady to show him her scars. She did. And after she finished showing the scars, Tate was about to beat the lady, and the lady ran into a room and locked it up. Does that look to you like somebody who enjoys BDSM? Somebody who ran away and locked herself up in a room, and Tate was shouting, yes, lock yourself up, because you know if you come out, I'm going to beat you. Does that sound like somebody who enjoys BDSM? I understand what you're saying, but But that's not the case here. You need to understand that that is not the case here. Every possible defense you can bring for this, for whatever it is that these people did, is not what is going on here, sadly. So yeah, I just want to make that clear. Let's continue.
I'll gladly tell him when I'm 18 and anybody else that happened with. So sweet you are. You're breaking up with me because I don't want to tell Joel that he raped me. One, I don't know if he would tell other people that I'm underage.
I'm underage and Fisher is still with her. And she doesn't want to ruin the relationship with Fisher. He knows she's underage right here. How can you say she set you up? You know she's underage and you're continuing with this relationship. I'm surprised Candace is actually reading this.
Yeah, me too. That's crazy, right?
Yeah, this doesn't make sense.
Marlon Fisher ended up actually confronting Friedman. You imagine your girlfriend tells you that she was raped by some other man.
Pause. Your underage girlfriend tells you that she was raped by another man.
Yeah. But
Your
of course,
underage girlfriend when you were
you need
34.
to understand something, guys. These men, I know I've not said this well enough. These men are victims, okay? These are serious victims. This Mylon Fisher, 34-year-old, having sex relations with an underage 17 or 16 year. I don't know how old Emma Gabi was at this time. And here is a text message of Emma Gabi saying, I'm underage. I don't want to let this man know that I'm underage. So it's clear, it is obvious. He knows this person is underage. And we are supposed to believe that Marlon Fisher is a victim of Emma Gabi, did not know, was being deceived and manipulated by an underage girl. Come on. You have anything you want to say?
4 years old.
The lady is just she's saying one thing and she's saying another thing to counter what she's saying at the same time. I mean, it's horrible here to watch. Like, I'm even surprised that I could sit through this whole thing and see this lady say all these things.
I watched the this video is this is like is a 1 hour long video. Is a video, and I watched it for that 1 hour. It was hard to watch. You know when you are watching something and you are angry, and with every passing minute your rage is just increasing. It's like boiling water, and it just keeps boiling and boiling and boiling as if you're about to explode. But I told myself, so that one idiot in the comments will not tell me that I took something out of context, so I need to watch the full video. And I'm going to stay and I'm going to watch this thing to the end so that I will hear everything this lady has to say. I remember posting about this on Twitter and somebody sent me the link to the video. I was like, I think you should watch this. And I told the person, I've watched it already. Funny enough, by that time, I've watched the video already twice. Can see the level of pain I've put myself into. This is like BDSM on my part. The level of pain that I put myself through to watch this, and I watched it twice just so I can get everything they said very well. So when I see a reaction video, I will know nothing she said was taken out of context, and nothing this guy has said has taken anything Candace Owens has said out of context. Nothing. And I watched this and I was like, this is terrible. This is terrible. This is terrible journalism. This is, guys, if you want to know textbook terrible journalism, CNN does it all the time. I will not make it look like there are no bad examples out there that are not right-leaning like you guys already are aware of. But this is terrible. Everybody needs to know that this is terrible journalism. I remember one time I made a video about this and somebody in the comments asked me, what do you want to happen to Candace Owens? This is the way you are pointing this out. And I said to the person that it will not be bad if she loses her job because of this. People lose their job for things like this. I don't know if this is too much to ask. That if somebody did not do their job well as a journalist, they should lose their job or at least be punished somehow, be reprimanded somehow for doing something so despicable.
I don't know if you want to respond to this comment right here from Matt saying, Frank, let me please make clear that I'm not defending Tate and I'm disgusted with BDSM, but when do you know BDSM is consensual or not? Every woman can say afterward that they were abused or not. So in this case, go on.
The video, the video I was talking about, it is glaring. I understand that consent can be an issue. Okay, first of all, if Candace Owens wants to be consistent with what she stands for, right? She will say BDSM should not be something you engage in, whether consensual or otherwise. Consent is not enough for you to do something despicable, even if you are doing it in the privacy of your own room. That, oh, somebody consented to it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do it. She's going to make that point abundantly clear because that's her stance on so many things. She doesn't care about privacy. That's one. Second is, if you watch the video that I'm talking about, the one where I mentioned that Andrew Tate told the person to count the bruises that he had given to her and then wanted to beat her again and she ran. This is somebody obviously not consenting. Right? Somebody is running away from you. There's no bigger example of this person is not consenting than that. Okay, so it's not to say, oh, at what point will you say this? And these people are not accusing him of BDSM. I'm just giving one instance. I'm not saying all the charges against him is BDSM related. Okay, and I get it. I'm not Mason Ridgewell. I'm not saying you are a terrible person. You obviously probably are trying to get to the bottom of this, and you are, you
also yeah, go on. Sorry.
You really want to be sure that the information you are receiving is accurate, and you don't want to jump into conclusion. And you probably understand a thing or two about BDSM, and also you may, like many of us, seen guys who have been wrongly accused of things like this. I'm not saying you are a bad person. Sometimes when I'm angry about something like that, I make it look like I'm angry with everybody, but I'm not. You understand? I'm not saying you are a bad person. Obviously, you are not. It's a fair question. Granted, it's a fair question. Okay, and I understand what you are trying to say.
So, in my own opinion, here is there's a research on Springer that showed about cases where people even passed out or died, while engaging in this act of BDSM. Well, thankfully or gracefully is that this lady, none of such happens to her, probably will be saying something different by now. And also, I'm looking at the point that, for goodness sake, we're talking about somebody who is underage. So if there's a way we could draw a line there, we could draw the line where whether it is sex, no matter the form it was being carried out, doing it with someone who is underage is totally not acceptable. And also, someone who is an adult, the responsibility falls 100%, or maybe if we want to be fair, 90%. In fact, to be more fair, 100% on him to do his due diligence to know that whoever you're committing this act with is actually underage.
Yeah, and one more thing I need to add before we go back to the video is the fact that conservatives, when it comes to gender transition and people changing gender, which is something I totally agree with, they are of the opinion that someone who is under the age of 18 cannot consent to life-altering medical procedures, right? When it comes to sex reassignment surgeries, gender mutilation, and consenting to chemical castration. They say underage people cannot understand what they are consenting to. So if that is the case, what makes you think Emma Gabi understood what she was getting herself into when she was acting, when she was manifesting her youthful exuberance, when she was manifesting this juvenile delinquency that she had, when she was just being a young, angry, traumatized child. And these men were busy taking advantage of her. Can we not say in the same regard that this person was not consenting, that this person is actually a victim because children cannot consent? I don't know if the same logic does not apply. You guys should tell me in the comments. Am I overreacting?
Tells you that she was raped by another 39-year-old man. What is going on here? How is she saying this with a straight face?
Well, eventually Marlon Fisher confronts Friedman over the rape allegation. Friedman, purports to be an innocent man, of course, denied those allegations. Friedman stated that they had a dating type relationship, but were never intimate and shared the passion of music together.
We're supposed to believe an underage girl is so sexually charged that she's into all of this crazy stuff and wanting to put butt plugs in and walk through court and get choked and all this BDSM. But with this one guy This one guy, there's no sexual relation whatsoever. I have a hard time believing that.
So that's really interesting. You see a person who has a pattern, these men that are coming out and making statements via an affidavit that they're about their relationship with her, about how she lied, about how she manipulated. But this pattern of speaking to one man about the last man and claiming that she's in a compromising situation is what these men are saying.
Pause. Yeah, we need to go back on this because Candace has talked about 5 men here. And let's kind of put this in context with the Tate saying that she's accused 7 men of kidnapping or human trafficking.
There's going to be another conversation as to whether women can go around and accuse 7, 8, 9, 10 people of kidnapping on the street whenever they don't get the handbag they want.
So this all began with a girl accusing us of kidnapping her, a girl we have the CCTV to prove was never kidnapped. Isn't it interesting that she's accused 7 other men of kidnapping her in her life?
So Keith Fox, he was convicted. There's no question. There was no false accusation there. Dustin Milner, there was no accusation. Tyler Hensel, there was no accusation. Marlon Fisher, there was an accusation, but to be fair, he would fall under statutory rape. He was 34, she was 17. And Joel Friedman, there was no formal accusation. It was Marlon Fisher who claims Emma told him that Joel raped her, but that's not a formal accusation. So at best, we have 2 accusations, and one of them was not formal. So I don't know where this whole she accused 7 men came from. That simply does not exist.
Yeah, Andrew Tate, where are the 7 men? You gave us 5. It remained 2. Where are this? What this is the problem with Andrew Tate. Everything he says is either a lie or an exaggeration. He cannot stick to the numbers. He's either lying or he's exaggerated.
Yeah, and there's 2 missing men. That's 5.
Yeah.
She says that she's in a compromising situation and the other person's here to rescue her. She's telling Marlon that Tyler Hensel raped her. She's talking to this person. She's talking to Friedman and saying, oh, this other guy that I'm dealing with is raping me, or I'm in a compromising situation. This is her pattern of behavior before she ever meets a single Tate brother. Again,
Yeah, pause.
do these
This is the pattern of behavior of a child. This is the pattern of behavior of a child who has been sexually abused by multiple men. And by men, I don't mean men who are 21 years old, men who are 39, 34, 35, 35, and 57 years old. And that's just the ones we know about. So this is the pattern of a minor who's been sexually abused repeatedly by adults.
And a pattern of behavior that's being put forth by the Tate brothers.
Yeah.
And the evidence is you have to trust these child predators.
Right. Trust the child predators to tell you the truth. Trust the men who have been formally charged with human trafficking to tell you the truth.
Yeah, so we've come to the end of the video. So exactly, that's so now you're up to speed with the Andrew Tate. You had there's many facts that are not stated here, but you're up to speed with the craziness that is Andrew Tate. So that is what, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we call right-wing journalism. In case you want to understand right-wing journalism, here's a textbook example.
Some folks seems not to agree with you, yeah, and with the whole facts here being pointed, like,
what are you guys saying?
Do you think we should take questions? Seems like some people have got questions.
All right, guys. If you have any question, you know what to do. But if there are any ones that are in the comments that we see, somebody. Okay. Mason Ridgewell still does not agree with me. Okay, I guess you still believe that now first of all, I am not trying to make a case for gender mutilation or sex let me use the terminology they like to use, gender affirming healthcare. That's not the case I'm making here. I'm saying if Candace Owens is going to say children cannot consent to gender affirming healthcare, then she should also say children cannot consent to having sexual relationship with adults, and the adults in question here should be the ones held responsible as the law states. Somebody is asking me, Frank, are you right wing or left wing? I think right wing or left wing would be an American politics thing. But I mostly, if you come to political ideology, if it comes to social ideology, I lean mostly conservative. I lean mostly conservative because it makes a lot of sense. I agree with so many of the things that they put forward, right? You know, the only problem I have with people in the conservative group is the same problem I have people on the left as well. Is don't allow your ideology to blind you from the truth. Don't be afraid to put your ideology before the light of the truth. I believe that the ideology that conservative espouse is so solid that you don't need to hide the truth to prove it. I don't know why people feel if whatever you do is solid enough. I feel the truth can stand on its own 2 feet. If you are right, then you are right. You don't have to bend facts or bend things just to fit your narrative. Sometimes the narrative on itself can still stand regardless. It does not. You might feel like people will not buy into it if you show them certain aspects, but let it be up to them. State what you believe to be true. Let them figure out for themselves whatever they feel this fact can contradict whatever you stand for, whatever. Just it's up to them, but let everybody know all the facts that are on ground and tell them what you believe. If they want to disagree with you, let them disagree with you. That's what I'm going to say.
So I had to stick out to John's question before it's go out of sight. He's asking, what do you think will happen to Tate during the trial going forward?
Well, I don't know if his trial date has been fixed. The news is that it will be in October. Now, I don't know if justice will be served, because one thing that Tate has made abundantly clear is that Romania is corrupt. There's even evidence to show that while he was in prison, he was trying to lobby politicians to get him out of jail. Right? Romania, from my understanding of the corruption in Romania is as corrupt as Nigeria. Right? And if that is the case, my brother, we know what happens in Nigeria. So that is why I don't know what will happen. I don't know if justice will be served. I know he's going to have his day in court. I really don't know. If he has enough money, or if he could make enough money, I don't know if he has that much money as he claims to, but if he could gather enough money with all the interviews and stuff that he's doing, could generate enough income to buy off those he needs to buy off, he might walk scot-free. I hope that does not happen, And I believe that even if he gets exonerated in the Romanian case, he also have cases he needs to answer in the UK. He already hinted that is going to happen to him. I guess his people in the UK are already telling him his informants. This guy has a criminal organization. I know people have forgotten that. Or an organization known as the War Room, which is obviously not a criminal organization. It's obviously not a criminal organization, even though many members of the War Room are being charged with sex trafficking and human trafficking. But it's just good guys coming together discussing business strategy, how to conquer the world, of course. So I believe that people from his War Room team and his network of very respectable and morally upright citizens of the world have informed him that people in the UK have something for him. The UK judicial system has something for him. And I'm also sure that the US also has something for him. They are cooking. Everybody is cooking at this point. So we'll see how it goes. I'm not convinced 100% that he's going to be convicted. But I've seen enough to know that this person is as guilty as it comes. It's like O.J. Simpson's for me. I already know this person is, he did it, So, yeah.
Yeah, someone else is just asking something else. A long story short.
Yeah, long story short, thank you for the super chat. Yes, do I live in the West? No, I don't. I live in Nigeria. Funny enough, I've never left the Nigerian border, except virtually. You can leave the country virtually. People don't know that.
A lot.
You can leave the country virtually. A lot. You do that every day when you hop on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and all the websites that are. So, no, I don't have the authentic Western experience, but I have the virtual experience. Yeah. So, that is that. This is one of the things we are going to be talking about today. But another thing that I want us to discuss, that I plan for us to discuss, is It's the case in Nigeria. This is a Nigerian case. But before we do that, we need to start with something light. Okay, we've dealt with heavy topics, and I want us to move to something really light. Okay. So here's the light stuff that we are going to go into. So is this? I want us to react to this TikTok video. It's very funny. I want us to react to it. So yeah, that's the video. What do you think, Yudee?
Well, I definitely know that this lady is definitely going to outgrow this thought she's having in her head, because I mean, people get married and they would, get married and decide not to have children. So if what she says about marriage is getting pregnant, cleaning, and doing all of those stuff, I mean, even outside of marriage, staying on your own, you will have to clean your house.
That's one of the things. When I saw this, I said, as we all know, people who live single, you don't wash. Who washes their clothes when they are single? Obviously, nobody does. Who cooks when they are single? Obviously, nobody cooks when they are single. Nobody does nobody cleans, nothing. Who does any of that? Nobody
people
even gets married have children when they are single. We all know that there are no single mothers in the West. You understand? So I want to put that out there.
I mean, you could even get you could give birth and you're not married. We have a lot of baby mamas out there. So I don't think she's just being serious, if that is what she's trying to do there. But I know, most of these people you see on social media do all of these things, and tomorrow you see them giving birth to 7 children. Just give them time.
Yeah, she looks young, I guess. But you'll be surprised to find out that there are a lot of people who share this sentiment in the West. There's this there's reports upon reports and stats that show that the marriage rate in the West is on the decline. But hopefully that is not the case in Nigeria. Yes, someone, she said, this is a long story short. We have a lot of West Africans here in New York. They are very hardworking and they all love the Eddie Murphy movie Coming to America. That's good to know. That's good to know. I can imagine that there are also more of those people in Canada. That's kind of like their hub. Canada and the UK. Yeah, that's where they that's their destination. In the live stream, last live stream I was talking about the fact that one of the reasons I want Justin Trudeau to lose the upcoming election in Canada is so that the person who comes in is going to make the immigration policy in Canada strict, so that the Nigerians will stop moving to Canada. I guess that makes me a very bad person, but yeah, that's kind of the feeling that I had.
Yeah, and talking about that movie, Coming to America, is a movie I also like very much. Only that I think most of these African movies at times, when they get people who grew up in America or who are Americans themselves, just because they're Black, getting them to act some of these African roles, it's usually funny because at times the accent they want to display.
Yeah, they don't usually. People don't know that.
They don't get it right, so it ends up becoming a full-blown comedy for us to watch.
Yeah, I want people in America to know every African accent you see on TV, even what's the name of this Hatta Bishola? What's the name? Josh Hatta Bishola.
No, Bob.
Even
Bob
that Hatta Bishola. Even that sitcom, the accent was still funny.
Yeah, no, I think the only person who was like Nigerian about the whole thing was Abishola. The rest was I don't know where they got those accents from.
I do not. Anytime I see them when they are making.
And even Jinara Yashri, the comedian who acted as Abishola's friend, I think she's actually from Nigeria as well. But
she's from Nigeria, but she grew up in the UK.
In the UK, so she does. I think the UK took off the whole Nigerian accent thing from her.
I don't think she. You say you took it off. I don't think she ever had it. You have to lose what you have, right? So I don't think she ever had it. Anyway, so let's go to the news in Nigeria. Where do I bring it up? Okay, yeah. First of all, let me. All right. So I saw this. I saw this stuff on channels when I was on channels television. On channels television, and I think it's something that we should look into. Whoa. The video we are about to react to has been removed by the uploader. Let me see if they still have it. Channels News. They've removed it. Can you imagine? Channels TV. They've removed it. What I was about to react to. What happened? Did the opinion of somebody is it somebody's opinion? They didn't like it. They decided to censor themselves as usual.
I think it's the video concerning the
it was a very interesting video.
Of the US involvement with this whole coup happening in Niger.
It was essentially what the video talked about. Or better still, let's just report it, because I mean we are living here, so I might as well just be a makeshift journalist for the time being. So essentially, what the news is about the brewing impending war between ECOWAS and Niger, right? And ECOWAS have already deployed standby troops, right? I believe that's the case. There are standby troops being deployed to Niger, and the tension is already brewing in West Africa at the moment with everything that is going on. And there was an interview that was in the clip that has been deleted by Channels News. There was an interview where the president of Ivory Coast was saying that now is the time to act, that he takes what is going on in Niger as an act of terrorism. Right? He was like, this is an act of terrorism. This is something that West Africa should not stand for, blah, 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 blah. And this is somebody who is on his third term in office, which is not constitutional in Côte d'Ivoire or Ivory Coast. Just think about that for a minute. This is somebody who is condemning a coup plotter, a successful coup plotter who got into power through subverting the constitution and installing himself, suspending the constitution, the whole thing that happened when a military coup, is in effect. And the person who is condemning this person is from a country where his position as president of the country is unconstitutional. I don't know if you guys understand. The person who is criticized is someone whose position in that country as president is in itself unconstitutional, but it's democratic. So an election was held. So I mean, I think that's the thing we have in West Africa. Once an election was announced, whatever happens in the election, who cares? I think democracy now is the definition of democracy. I think the working definition we have now is democracy is a system of government where election is being conducted.
Well, for me, I believe if a coup ever happened in Africa recently, it actually did happen in Nigeria, because with the election that happened in Nigeria, we could record over 50 cases where people died. But with the coup in Niger, I mean, they did not record any life being lost in that coup. It was more like a peaceful one, and they've got the support of the people. And getting these African leaders out of the 15 ECOWAS states who claim they want to go restore democracy in Niger, having some presidents that have stayed almost for eternity in the seat of power. Some would stay there, and when they leave, they give the seat to their son, as if they're running a monarchy kind of system there, are the ones who wants to go to Niger to actually go restore democracy.
Restore democracy. That's the irony of the whole thing. Is just annoying.
It's so funny, because I mean, what is ECOWAS business with actually becoming a war machine? For goodness sake, ECOWAS, when you look at the full meaning of ECOWAS, it has to do with West Africa coming together to make their economy better. And then
the
we
name
have
is
them.
the Economic Community of West African States. That's what ECOWAS is. Economic Community of West African States. That is what it is. It's like hearing that your bank is going to war. Like I was talking to you earlier today, and I was like, it's like hearing that your bank is going to war. And you're like, my bank is supposed to keep my money, not use it to fight a war. ECOWAS is, of course, I believe that there are so many nuances to the whole position of ECOWAS, and the name does not do justice to what they claim to their role is. But my question is this: I have a couple of questions. One, anybody who is watching what is going on in West Africa right now, if they even care so much to even know what is happening in West Africa, should ask this these are the couple of questions you should ask. Question one: what is ECOWAS interest in Niger? What is ECOWAS interest in Niger that is being subverted by virtue of the fact that there is a military head of state in Niger? What is Nigeria's interest in Niger? What is not just in Niger, but in the democracy of Niger? What do we benefit from Niger being a democracy? What benefit comes to Nigeria or to ECOWAS by virtue of that? I mean, we have Burkina Faso, and Mali. Burkina Faso and Mali are already dictatorships, right? Has that affected ECOWAS in any way? Is that causing a problem for ECOWAS in any way? Why are they not invading those countries? Or is it which is Mali part of ECOWAS? Let me do a quick Google search. Is Mali part of?
Yeah, Mali is part of ECOWAS.
What about Burkina Faso?
Burkina Faso is actually part of them as well.
So both countries they're all in ECOWAS, right?
Yeah, what
so
we have in ECOWAS is Benin Republic, Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, Gambia, Ghana, Guinea-Bissau, Liberia, Mali, Niger, Nigeria, Senegal, Sierra Leone, Togo, and Cabo Verde.
Cape Verde. Anyways,
Cape Verde. Sorry about that.
So these countries are in ECOWAS and they are under a dictatorship. They're under a dictatorship. So if the idea is, democracy, we want democracy in every ECOWAS country, why don't they have issue with Mali? Why don't they have issue with Burkina Faso? Also, if they really care about democracy, why are people who care about democracy themselves not democratic? They themselves they came into power through means that are not democratic in any way possible, in any way. If they care about a constitution, a country adhering to its constitution, why are they unconstitutional presidents? Why is it that you can look into how these people came into power and see that they are holding the position in a way that contravenes the provision of their own constitution? So why is it a problem in Niger, but it's not a problem? It's a problem when it happens in Niger, but it's not a problem when it happens in Mali. It's a problem in Niger, but it's not a problem when it happens in Burkina Faso. We talk about somebody not sticking to the constitution of the land. It's okay when it happens in Nigeria, because this election we have is so unconstitutional, right? It's a sham of an election. It's okay when it happens in Nigeria. ECOWAS have nothing. They have nothing to say when a sham election is being conducted in one of their country, in one of their member states. When it's obvious, they have nothing to say. When violence is being conducted, when violence happens during an election and people are being killed, they have nothing to say. When somebody gets into power democratically, but there is the shedding of blood involved, they have nothing to say about it. But when it happens in Niger that was peaceful, nobody was killed. But hey, it is a dictatorship. They are wearing military uniforms, so it is bad. What exactly is the standard? What exactly is the stake? Because the way I see it, there is no ECOWAS agenda. I do not see any ECOWAS agenda in this whole thing. What I see is Western agenda. That is all I see here. Western agenda. These people are carrying water for France. And I was talking to you earlier. I don't know if it was you I was talking to. I said this is a pattern of behavior that colonialists use. Westerners who like to talk about colonialism. This is your moment. because this is real case of colonialism. This is their pattern. I was telling you, like, when the British was trying to conquer the Gold Coast, Ghana, right? When they were trying to subdue the Ashanti Empire, people who helped them fight in the war, in the Anglo-Ashanti War, we are Nigerians. Nigerians, we are fighting on the side of the British in the Anglo-Ashanti War. Think about that. Let that sink in. Nigerians, this is something that happened in the early 20th century. And it is repeating itself again in 2023. And ECOWAS member states, the leaders of these states will say, oh, we have moved past. This is the funny, ridiculous, very stupid thing that they say. We've moved past dictatorship. Oh, we've moved past that. We are beyond that in ECOWAS. We shouldn't be having such an issue anymore. But colonialism, you have a problem with dictatorship. You want to move past dictatorship, but you don't want to move past colonialism. Obvious colonialism.
Funny enough, is the method with which the president of Nigeria, well, the case is still in court anyway. So the way and manner with which he's approaching this whole thing is even unconstitutional, because I mean the Senate did not give you this permission, and then the next thing you made it look like it's an ECOWAS thing, and whereas you want to deploy Nigerian men in the military to be part of this ECOWAS thing.
Let me just quick answer scoring. It is not pre-recorded. This is live. This is a live stream. That's why I highlighted your this, and this is a live stream. You can ask me whatever. We will get to your comments and stuff.
Also, there's another question here for you that I saw from Miss EE, MSEE, Master EE, rather.
Mrs. rather, I think it's a Mrs. Hey, please tell me what part of Nigeria you are from. I've visited numerous times and I love it there. I have friends and extended family from Cross River State who are ethic. Where I live is close to Cross River State. I don't know if I should give more information than that, but yeah, where I live, let me just say it. I think I've said that when I was a guest in one of these live streams like that. I live in Enugu State. I live in Enugu, it's in eastern Nigeria. That's where I live. Yeah.
Okay, question answered. What?
Yeah, you were responding to the whole thing. You were trying to point out the fact that even the Nigerian Senate has not given. Okay, that's a very interesting question. As in Nigeria, you're afraid of Russia or more the US? I'm asking about the economy of your country. I am not a fan of any of them. Like, I'm not a fan of, be it Russia, be it China. You should also mention China, because these are people who have interest in Africa. Be it China, be it the US, be it Russia. I am not a fan of any of them. However, I understand that African countries no country can you're not an island. You cannot thrive on your own, especially when you're a struggling nation. You don't have certain infrastructure or expertise or means to use certain natural resources that you have. So it is important to partner with certain countries, to do business with certain countries. There is nothing wrong with doing business with France. There's nothing wrong with doing business with the US. There's nothing wrong with doing business with Russia. You don't have to be friends with any of them. Even European countries, the ones that are fighting Russia, had business dealings with Russia even when they didn't like Russia, right? They were energy dependent on Russia even when they didn't like Russia, right? So you have to do business and dealings with these people. My issue is when you are doing business with a country and it is not, both parties are not equal. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Both parties are not equal. You can clearly see that one party has the upper hand, and it doesn't even look like a business. It looks like an exploitation. You are exploiting the other country and you say, oh, well, it is a business agreement. True, it is, but it is exploitative. This is an exploitative business arrangement. And when it does not go the way you want it to go, you cause instability in that region, which is how France and the West, especially the US, have been dealing with Africa. It is no news. The current coup plotter in Niger was trained by the US. Yeah. Think about that. The person that the military head of state right now in Niger was trained by the US. So somebody said this has France written all over it. I live in Niger for 18 years. True, it does. It does. Like I don't. That's why I say I don't see ECOWAS here. There is no. That's why I said there is no ECOWAS agenda. ECOWAS are not. There's no interest. There's no ECOWAS interest. ECOWAS, as far as I know, has never given a damn about coup plotters or about coup or about democracy. None of that has ever mattered to any single one. Like not a single one of those leaders, ECOWAS leaders, care a bit about Niger's democracy. None of them do. They are becoming puppets for France. That's clearly what is happening. And there is also the fingerprint of Russia all over this. And the good thing is that Russia is not even hiding it. That's it. Russia is not hiding it. It's obvious. There's the fingerprint of Russia all over this. And this is something that I want Africans to learn from, right? I believe Africans should take this as a learning moment, a moment to learn something. When something is happening far, far, far away in Europe, right, in Eastern Europe between Ukraine and Russia, and you feel, well, this will never affect me. It's those people, is their business. I have nothing, I have no stake in it. It's none of my business. I don't care. You're like, oh, this is, whatever should happen there should happen there. Is the West killing each other? Cool. But tomorrow you wake up and they've brought it to your backyard. And that is what is happening in Niger. They've brought it to our backyard. Nigeria's backyard. Niger is share common border with us. This northern border, the whole of northern border is Niger. And
so it's going to be a blast if Nigerians get involved, because if you check out what is flying in the media, it's more on the president being corrupt and having a lot of allegation on, not allegation, because if you check the cases he had in US, especially for a drug case where he forfeited about over $400,000 US, he fits the description of the perfect puppet for the United States. So at this point, it's more or less like it looks like he's trying to do everything possible to make sure that Nigeria gets involved in that war that ECOWAS is pushing for. Besides, he's the president of ECOWAS anyway. But here's the thing. Most of northerners, or the northern Nigeria, especially the Kanuri people, they have deep roots in Niger. So they are like family. They marry from there. We see a lot of Nigerians.
We see Nigerians here. We see a lot of Niger. As in the border is not even clearly defined.
So I feel everyone is going to work for the interest, the way I see it, because most of these northern guys will work for the interest of Niger, because especially when you see that the people of Niger are in support of this whole coup, information is going to be flying around that is not supposed to fly around. And people will get to lose more in this whole craziness would happen to be Nigeria at the end of the day, because I mean, it's just like Frank said, it is happening right at our backyard. And we have the whole of the north.
1 minute to you, because I see this as a reiteration of the NATO-Russia proxy war. This is, for me, is a reiteration of that. Russia is obviously taking advantage of the moment. They are taking advantage of it. I don't blame them. If I'm in their position, I'll do the same thing. France is also has been taking advantage of West Africa. Francophone West Africa have been under the thumb of France for ages. So there is that. My problem is, let Africans themselves just resist. And when there is somebody who is helping you to resist, why don't you just go along with the person? And even though that person at this moment is Vladimir Putin, just be careful when you are signing whatever agreement with that guy, because he's not no nice guy. Okay, he's not Joe Biden, believe me. He's not sleeping. He's awake. So that's what I want to say about the whole Nigerian Niger stuff. Let's see if we can touch on one more news article, and then we'll call it a day. I had a lot in store. I sent you countless links, and I was like, we're going to look at all of these links, but now I don't even know if we'll look at how many of them. Okay, let's talk about this one. This is interesting.
Staggeringly.
This is interesting, and I want you guys to look at this. All right, so many of you, okay, you can see that this is the CEO of X. I don't want to call it X. This is the CEO of Twitter. Jesus Christ. This is the CEO.
Is the CEO of X guy. She's the CEO. She is the CEO of X. So let's call it X. We don't own Twitter. Elon Musk owns Twitter. So whatever he calls Twitter right now is what it is. If he calls it Y, it is Y. If he calls it S,
it's a weird name. Like Elon Musk gives things weird names, like the name he gave to his son. But I digress. This is an interview that she did, and I want you guys to listen to what she said.
Staggeringly, they take it down. And that reducing that hateful content from being seen is one of the best examples how X is committed to encouraging healthy behavior online. And today, I can confidently sit in front of you and say that 99.9% of all posted impressions are healthy.
How do you define?
Okay, first of all, I think she's lying. I think she's lying. I think it's an obvious lie to begin with. But that's not even the main issue that I have with Twitter. Granted, let everybody know I'm a free speech absolutist. I am. I believe in unlimited free speech. The only thing that should be unlawful is when you are making direct threats to someone, or when you are doxing people or stuff like that. Those are speech these are criminal, obvious. These are criminal activities. This is not, for me, this is not even, you're putting somebody's life in danger actively, directly. There's no stochastic terrorism. This is obvious. It's glaring to everybody what you're doing. In that case, yes, we should not allow that. But somebody using the N-word, spreading hate for a particular group, whatever it is you want to call it, I am not against people making those statements on social media. I am not against it. The way to counter, I'm not saying I support such kind of speech and I think people should make those speech. I'm saying people have the right to make those kind of speech. I'm not, hate speech for me is it's not even clearly defined. What does it mean? What does hate speech mean? Let's say you are discriminating against a particular group, or you are spreading negative stereotypes about a particular group. Go ahead, do whatever it is you want to do. Say whatever it is you want to say. The best way to counter harmful speech is to call it out, to criticize it. It's not to throttle it and to silence it. Because when your option is to silence somebody who is saying something nasty, you lend credibility to that person. When you silence speech that you don't like, that is one of my problem with it, is that you lend credibility to something that should, think about it. Let's say I'm saying something and everybody is telling me, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. What will you think, Yudee?
Yeah, every person telling you shut up is more or less like you have no right to actually express your own.
Not just that, you who is seeing that, you'll be like, wait, let us hear what he has to say. I don't know if you understand.
Yeah, I get it.
You'll be like, no. Maybe he's making a point. That's why everybody wants to. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think what they're trying to do in this video here is they're introducing censorship in another way.
Now, why I said I think she's lying is because when she said 99% of speech, are you on Twitter? Is it the Twitter that I'm using? Twitter has always been the epicenter of the epicenter of say whatever you want to say. Anyway, of course, there are some things you say and you get the platform and stuff like that on Twitter. But compared to other social media sites, Twitter is like free reign. So this statement she made, I don't think is true. I believe she's saying it's just for investors, so that investors will feel, advertisers will feel like, I don't think she's being honest.
Invest and all.
Yeah. So that's something I want to point out. I don't think she's being honest here, and I understand why.
Healthy though, is porn healthy? Are conspiracy
theories of all posted impressions are healthy?
How do you define healthy though? Is porn healthy? Are conspiracy theories healthy?
It goes back to my point about our success with freedom of speech, not reach. And if it is lawful, but it's awful, it's extraordinarily difficult for you to see it.
How many millions of people follow Kanye West? Lawful but awful.
Anyway, here's the mantra that Elon Musk keep repeating, and then he says he's pro free speech. I'm like, this. There's nothing about this that indicates that you support free speech. Freedom of speech, but not freedom of reach, is censorship. Call it what it is. Stop all this nursery rhyme you're coming up with.
I mean, this is how we started with the whole problem of identity. Gradually, you start giving something that has a simple name now.
You now come up with nursery rhymes.
Freedom of speech, not
freedom of reach.
Then tomorrow it's going to be another name, and we keep confusing ourselves, and we'll be like, what is it? Yeah, what is the difference between censorship right now and freedom of speech, not reach, and then probably a new name that will come after that? Freedom of speech, not reach, but somehow reached, and you see different kind of name coming up. I mean, let's make things easy for everyone. Say what it is, and we'll understand that this is where you are.
People. Maybe we don't censor as much as Facebook does. I get it, but don't tell me this freedom of speech is not freedom of reach nonsense. Don't do that. Don't give me that freedom of speech is not freedom of reach. Awful, lawful, but awful. What are you saying? What exactly are you saying? This is the thing about. Now let me use this opportunity to say a couple of things that I feel about censorship. And why I think the West, especially people in the US, in Canada, and all these countries, don't understand their position in the world. And also, what they are doing is doing to them personally, themselves, and what is doing to the rest of the world. One thing they need to know, one thing Westerners need to know, is that Africans look up to them. Despite how filthy, immoral, depraved you people are, in many regards, Africans look up to you. They do. African leaders look up to you. The people in Africa look up to you. Right? Look at Africa sometimes as your younger brother. They are looking up to you guys. And then they see what Justin Trudeau, for example, did in Canada when there was the trucker convoy and the protests in Canada, peaceful protests in Canada, where if you give money to listen to Yudee, if you give money to the protesters, your account to be seized. Giving money to protesters will lead to your account being seized, frozen. You have your account frozen just because you Venmo money to a group. When you do that in Canada, and Tinubu is watching you, and the Ivory Coast third-term president is looking at you, what do you think he will do next? I know some of you are not aware of this, but there was a time where the former president of this country banned Twitter. And when he was banning Twitter, what was his excuse? It happens in China. That was his excuse. It happens in China. So imagine if tomorrow the US is like, we are going to ban whatever speech it is we want to ban. What do you think the African leaders will say? Are you calling us undemocratic? Did you not see what the US did? Did you not see what Canada did? Did you not see what happened in the UK? It's normal. I don't know why you guys are complaining. You are not setting a good example. You people don't understand the position you hold in the world. And also, you don't understand what this is doing to your own country. People have not experienced censorship. You've not seen people get imprisoned for saying things that they're not supposed to say against the government. Right now, you feel somebody should be thrown in prison because they called you the wrong gender. That is how it starts. And the funny thing is that those dummies who are advocating for such draconian legislature don't know that when it starts with that, the government will also use it against them. That tomorrow you will not be able to criticize that government that threw somebody in prison who said something that offended you. Tomorrow you are going to offend them and they are going to swiftly throw you in prison. And they will not think twice about it. And it is with the same laws that you have encouraged, the same policies, the same sentiment that you are breeding and encouraging, thinking that the only person it is going to affect is the person misgendering you, or the conservatives, the people who are hateful. You think they are the only ones it's going to affect. Censorship is a double-edged sword. It cuts both ways. If you are going to use it to cut someone else, it is only a matter of time it will be used to cut you. That is why you do not advocate for it under any circumstance. And also, you should understand that you are setting a wrong precedent that other African dictators that are hungry for dictatorship are going to latch onto and be like, yes, this is proof that this is the right thing to do. This is what a democracy look like. So with this whole thing let me give you another example of censorship. I think I sent it as a link. Just this is another example of, just watch this abhorrent video. What was this? Let me see if I can find it. Is it this one? Let me see.
She's made a comment in her own house.
Okay, this is the video. Now let me give you a background of this video that you're about to watch. A lady told a police officer that she looks like her grandmother, who is a lesbian. That's what she said to the police officer. You look like my grandmother, who is a lesbian. And this is a child. This is a child. I think she's 16 or so. That's what she said to the police officer. You look like my grandmother, who is a lesbian. And this is what happened. All right, the sound, the audio will soon come.
She's made a comment in her own house. You've got her own camera. She hasn't said anything to you. Don't matter. Don't matter. She's getting arrested. She's getting arrested. Why are you doing units coming? Don't worry. She's autistic. I don't care. She's autistic and don't arrest her. I'm telling you, I've got units coming. She's going to be arrested tonight. I'll wait till the police officers coming on. Like, why we got her on the first place.
Yeah, they're about to arrest her for making that comment. In case you guys don't understand. Yeah.
What country is that?
And that this is for homophobia, for being homophobic.
What country is that?
This is the UK. Yeah. And that is an autistic child. This is a child that has autism. And she's about to be arrested. Just keep watching.
Please fucking bitch up me if I get put
She's
autistic. Can you stop staring at me? She's got autism. Can you just stand there? She's in a cupboard. She can't go anywhere. She can't go anywhere.
And this is
stand there.
Just so you guys know, this is inside the girl's house. They went into her house to arrest her for making a homophobic comment because she told the police officer that you look like my grandmother, who is a lesbian.
They're going to remove her for what? Because you're bothered that she said the word lesbian. Her nana is a lesbian. She's married to a woman. She's not homophobic. Look what you're clenching your fist. Go away from my teenage daughter. What is up with you? There is something wrong with you, mate. She didn't aim it at the police officer.
It's not homophobic remarks.
It's not a homophobic remark. She said, I think she's a lesbian like Nana.
First of all, how does calling somebody a lesbian amount to homophobia? Like, please, those in the comments who live in the US, help me understand this, because what is homophobia again? Is it not hate towards people of the same in the who are gays or lesbians? Is that not what homophobia is? Calling somebody, oh, you look like a lesbian, how does that amount to homophobia? Please, you guys in the comments, explain this to me, because I really don't understand it.
If you want to bully people, you just get one of them badges there. That's what you do.
Yeah, exactly.
Where'd it go? Where's this? Does it go to right under there?
She's autistic. She don't like people touching her.
Well,
she will have a meltdown. She won't come out. She's got autism. I'm Lisa.
Talk to her so she can come out. We're trying not to do this, aren't we? We've been trying for a long time.
But she hasn't done nothing, no. That officer out there has assaulted me for no reason. She's got autism. She's autistic, man.
The issue is, if an officer decides to arrest her,
She got arrested.
No,
they brought her home.
she's under arrest.
No, but she was going upstairs and she made a comment to me, and that officer ran in my house and assaulted me and tried to get to my daughter for now.
If you want to make a complaint about any of it, that's fine.
I am going to. I am going to. Yeah, because it is on, and she has.
She's now under arrest.
She was full of rage and she ran in the house and she barged me into this corner.
I thought they don't arrest kids there.
They do when they are homophobic, apparently. They do when they are homophobic. Like, it doesn't even these are the same UK police officers that cannot handle the increase in knife crimes in the UK. Right? These are the same police officers that will say an immigrant raping someone and would do nothing about it. Because the person who is doing the perpetrator of the act is a black person, and they don't want to be called racist. So because of that, they will do nothing, right? But when it comes to this, all of a sudden, they are lions and tigers. The beast is alive now, because it's the one who they want to arrest is a 16-year-old girl, autistic child.
So now you can just say something and you could just get in trouble for saying anything.
Yes, apparently. But if you are black, you're an immigrant and you're a Muslim, I think they will allow you slide. Nobody will do anything to you because they don't want to be called racist, apparently. So if you're a white person, you're a straight white person, you're in big trouble.
That's crazy.
Now, this thing is happening. Look, just I want you to see something. Sorry, the audio is not playing, but I just want you to see something. Of course, she's been arrested, as you guys can see. She's been arrested. As you can see, she's been arrested. And now this is the lady that she called it. Yeah, that's the lady over there. Yeah, that's the. Okay, first of all, madam, I live in Nigeria, and I'm going to say you really look like a lesbian. An angry lesbian. That's what you look like, apparently. It goes without saying. You know, maybe you should send those police officers to come and arrest me too. I live in Nigeria. Your government have a handle on my own government, so it can happen easily. Can make it happen. I want to see you make it happen. Nonsense.
One day you go to the UK and they'll come for
If I hear. Do they want me to tell them how racist they are for arresting a Nigerian? Why? Because of something that is I spoke in line with my culture, and you're going to try and arrest me. How dare you? You know. I will play that game. Oh. Hey, we'll play that game. We'll play. So yeah, that is what censorship does. How far is this going to go? How far is this going to go? How is this allowed to happen? How is this a good thing? How far will this go? These are the questions that Westerners need to be asking themselves. Censorship is a very bad thing. It's a very bad thing. It's something. Oh no, Westerners! I hope people know how far people can just have an imagine. Just imagine. I know when people are filled with whatever passion and rage and delusional thinking that overcomes you guys, or not all of them. Sorry, I'm making a general statement. Of course, not everyone in the West, but whenever that thing is happening to those people, they should take a moment and just imagine the thing I'm pushing for. What is the long-term effect of that thing? How do you think this thing is going to play out? Just imagine. Use your imagination. You've read novels about this. You've read 1984. You've read Animal Farm. It's like this. It's like we always say in Nigeria. Like this, they take stats. Let me speak pidgin. You understand? Now, like this, the thing they take starts. It starts like this. And before you know, you are living
before you know, you might not even say anything, and it might just be the way you're looking at someone, and they just arrest you and interpret the look to be something else. Like, it's just crazy.
Exactly. Somebody, Punisher Lee, was saying, if you are black, female, and a Muslim, let me highlight it. It's a very said, if you're black, female, and Muslim, then you are the safest you can be. Exactly. That's the law. That's the law in the West right now, especially in Europe, Western Europe. If you are black, if you're a Muslim, and if you're a woman, you can go scot-free. Anything, you can do anything. And then if you belong to the the rainbow community, you understand, the flamboyant community, the community of Color Riot. If you belong to that community, anything goes. You understand? So you can even be a sex offender. You might be a sex offender as a man, right? You get arrested, and the moment you get arrested, finally you have an epiphany. You finally get to this moment of self-realization. Finally, you get to, as you are sitting in your jail cell, you begin to think about your life, and then you realize, you come to this acknowledgement that you were born in the wrong body. You understand? It happens all the time. Everybody knows that. It's a common thing among male prisoners. It happens among male prisoners especially. Once they are in the, once they are arrested for sex crimes and violent crimes like that, that will see them being put away for like 20, 30 years. When they are waiting trial, in that moment, boom, he enters. You realize suddenly there's an inner spirit inside of you. You are possessed suddenly. You know how it all goes. So, yeah, if you can find yourself belonging to that community, you can get away with literally anything. And even the media will cover for you. The media will the same way they will cover for you, the same way Candace Owens is covering for Andrew Tate. Even they'll do a better job. Candace Owens is learning work where these people are concerned. They will do a better job of covering for you. So, yeah, that is what you get in the West these days. So, it's a wonderful world we are living in. Sorry, I'm going on a serious rant. What do you think, Yudee?
Yeah, I mean, it's that is one thing with censorship. It has a beginning, but there is no end to it, and that's just it. The rules will always change as time goes on, if there is a rule. And,
there's no rule. There's no rule. It's just obvious double standards that nobody's just no rule, and people don't even care. It's just that's what it is.
Well,
yeah, exactly. Like I call bull censor. He said thought police over 1984. Exactly. That is what it is looking like. That's what it is becoming. And yeah. All right, guys. We have covered everything we want to cover today. I'm sure Yudee is already tired, and so am I. Usually, I used to have my cup of coffee here. I sip it. None of you see it, but I usually do. But I did not do that this evening or this morning. Sorry. So, but thank you. Thanks to each and every one of you for tuning in. Thank you for being my audience, for tuning in and listening to whatever it is I have to say. And even when the first broadcast was a sham, okay, it was abysmal. It was terrible. You guys still, stay tuned and waited for me. I have one of the most loyal fan base, I must say. And I am really, really grateful. I am really grateful. Thank you to each and every one of you. Some of you are not even aware anyway, but some are aware. And they still stuck around and they joined when I came live again. Thank you. Thank you to each and every one of you. And then the plan is to do this twice every week. We're coming up with a date. We don't know yet when it is going to be feasible, but we are looking at Wednesday, right? Yudee, what do you think? Wednesday and Friday.
Yeah.
More like Thursday morning, Friday, Saturday morning, because for you guys it may be Wednesday. For us, we're already into next day. So it's more like Thursday morning, Friday, Saturday morning for us. So yeah.
All right, guys. It's good to have your audience this morning. For some people out there, it's almost like it's night for them or evening. I don't know. I think Sis Asgap should be like some should be at I think 9 p.m. thereabout. So I really appreciate it. And for those who gift, also I appreciate.
Thank you all so much. Thank you all. I am really grateful. And we'll come again with another live stream. I'll also be making shorter videos, and I'll also be making shorts. I kind of took a break this week because I had a lot going on. But I'm resuming hopefully from tomorrow, or from today rather. I'll resume our post. I'll also see if I can repurpose some of the clips from this long live stream that we had. Thank you, each and every one of you. I'm really grateful. I really had fun. I hope you guys had fun too. Thank you for coming to listen to me once again. I cannot say thank you enough. Believe me, you are deeply grateful. Thank you. And thank you to somebody just said something in the comments that I don't even understand. Jordan Jones. Yudee, you will not understand this question. What is the color of your Bugatti? That is what Andrew Tate fans will ask you. Anytime you criticize, they'll be like, what's the color? That's to tell you the kind of childish behavior you have to expect from Tate fans. It's the level of maturity. But I don't think this person is obviously making a sarcastic remark. I don't think he really means it like that. So, yeah. So that's the kind of question they usually ask. Thank you, each and every one of you. Thank you for tuning in. And peace. We are ending the broadcast right about now. Okay, sorry, before we go. Please follow us on social media. Mine is at I always forget to plug in my social media handle. I always forget that. Can you guys imagine? I don't even know what it is. Okay, I'm on Instagram at NIG Perspective. I mean on Twitter rather at NIG Perspective. On Instagram, I don't know what my Instagram handle is, so I have to check. Sorry guys. On Instagram, I'm Nigerian Perspective on Instagram. Nigerian Perspective. Just look for Nigerian Perspective at Nigerian Perspective on Instagram. On Twitter, I'm NIG Perspective. And I'm also on TikTok as Nigerian Perspective. So you can please go follow these social media handles. Yeah, Jordan, I know you were joking. Of course, I know you were joking. I don't think it was serious, but I'm just, of course, but the joke obviously highlights the childishness of those in the Andrew Tate fan base. But yeah, so thank you, each and every one of you. Also, Yudee, is there something you want to plug?
Yeah, so I'm just going to stick with Inspired Podcast where I drop
Send me the link so
motivational.
I can. Anyway, I'm going to put it in the description when I
Okay.
finally put this live. All of it is going to be in the description, and everybody can go there and see everything they need to see and give you a follow and show you some love. It's been great having you guys. Thank you, each and every one of you. And until Thursday, stay blessed.
All right, bye, guys.